This episode of TWIMMO is brought to you by WildStar. To save 20% off on your pre-order, just head over to gamebreaker.tv/deals.
Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO 186. It's episode 186 for April 25th, 2014. You're watching Game Breaker. I'm Gary Gannon. On today's show, we're going to talk about some Elder Scrolls Online. They had their first State of the Game address. We've got some controversial news about the SOE Zombies Survival game H1Z1. And it's time to throw your money at Tryon's ArcheAge. All that and more. But first, joining me from GameBreaker.tv, Mr. Troy Blackburn, a.k.a. Noob Fridge.
Hello, hello, internets. Happy to be here as always.
Who may or may not have internet issues, but we're just going to roll with it.
We will see how this goes.
He's got constant dropouts. Joining us also from GameBreaker TV is Mr. Justin Kennedy, JKKTV. What's up, sir?
Not too much. Glad to be here for another episode. Enjoy doing these things.
Mike Byrne is preparing for some play or something. He's a big theater dude. I don't know if a lot of people know that. He's a magician, podcaster, host, theater guy. I think he's got a bit of an ego. Just gonna say.
Man of many talents.
Yeah, I think he loves himself. He just wants people to clap for him all the time. And not happening, Byrne. Not happening. Now he'll be back soon. He will be back soon. So he's got like a emergency that he had to step in and take the lead role on some play or something. All right, but let's talk about some MMORPGs. All right, so first up this week, I think everybody's been playing this one. The Elder Scrolls Online. They had a State of the Game address, Matt Fyror. Some of the big issues, one of the big issues they've been talking about. I enjoy say all the reviews are coming out pretty much like this week. The YouTubers are hitting the reviews and stuff. Have you guys been following them? They're not being too friendly.
Some of them are pretty mean.
There's been quite a bit of not too friendly with this game for quite a while now, so not too surprising.
Yeah. Is it starting to settle in for you guys? Are you guys kind of getting the bugs and the grouping things? Those seem to be the main gripes that I hear from people. And the grouping situation, I'll call it, has been my thorn in my side of not being able to play with friends.
The grouping situation is something that they're really going to have to address and kind of come out with a patch that's kind of like, hey, we're going to do this to improve the grouping. But as far as the bugs, they're constantly doing a really good job of ironing out the bugs. And it's taken a long time to get it done, but every time they do an update or a patch, there's some stuff getting fixed. So, I mean,
you think they could fix the grouping thing, though, Troy? You think they could fix that?
It's the way that the game's set up and some of the built-in core mechanics of the game make you question that, yeah. But I think there's probably some things that they can do to sort of ease into that a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's going to come across primarily as a single-player sort of questing experience. And right now, my biggest hope is that the end game, where everything's kind of geared towards being in a group of 4 or more, is going to kind of help bring us all back together and get a chance to play together.
There's about 2 things they can do to make the grouping experience better right off the bat regarding groups. And that's just making sure that when you're in a group doing the same quest, that everyone gets credit. Mm-hmm. And if everyone gets credit for the same thing and then you complete it, that will just make it so much better for people in a group. And then make sure that everyone gets the rewards when they're in a group. Those 2 things alone would probably improve it.
Could help. I'm still having a great time in it. I still think it's an awesome game. There are certain things that do annoy me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been saying, the grouping thing, but I don't see how they could ever fix the grouping thing. The public dungeon things. All right, let's go back to this. The State of the Game address. One of the big things one of the obvious issues that I think a lot of players are freaking out about, and they can't ignore, is the gold spammers and the bots, and especially in public dungeons with bosses. This is definitely an issue. I mean, we've all seen this, right? You guys have experienced this, correct?
Yeah. It's everywhere.
I mean, how are they working on fixing this? And how do they deal with like trying to figure out who are campers and bots and how many are actually like legitimate players?
Well, that's part of the problem. The gameplay mechanic in itself is rewarding the behavior there. So not everybody who's standing around AFK in that little circle is a gold spammer or a bot. There are players who are legitimately playing the game that way and using that to get their XP and their items and their gold. And so they've got to change the way that they reward players for that behavior. They've got to change the way that happens, or else people's just going to keep doing it. When they addressed it on the forums a few weeks back, they were like, hey, we're going to try to do some things to try to, make this not so prevalent. And there were people on the forums complaining about the changes. Oh, how am I going to grind out my XP and get my blue loots? Why don't you try to go out and play in the actual game?
Play the damn game.
In one spot all night.
No, but they did come out on those forums and also say that the behavior going on in public dungeons is not against their terms of service, and they are fine with people playing that way. What they wanted to work on reducing was people who were botting, and they're like, and then they tell people, we don't allow botting though, so report people who you think are botting and stuff. But regular players doing this, we are fine with. But it's a simple fix. Just reward them one time when they get that little achievement.
Yeah.
Public dungeon completed. There's your reward. Done.
Yeah, but that's not the only reason. That's not the only reason people are doing it. And people are doing it because they take about 30 seconds to spawn. They drop good loot, and they always drop a soul gem. So
yeah, I'm saying attach the loot to the achievement instead, so you only get the achievement once.
Once you've killed it and got it, you're just done. Now people
and
complain
no
too.
Loot after
well,
that.
What if I don't get the blue drop? Because it doesn't always drop the blue loot. Too bad. Move on. Go to another dungeon. Get a blue drop there.
Yeah, this is almost like an old school thing. Like this is like old school camping mobs, like outside public dungeon. Same thing, whether it's inside or in a public dungeon. I mean, do you remember this happening? Like this has been happening in MMOs forever. A lot of the newer games sort of fixed it. I don't know. Would you like to? I mean, what if they did this? This is something they could probably do with the technology. What if they didn't have public dungeons? What if they just made them all instances? Now it's even more single player of a game.
So to me, that would be the obvious fix, but I mean, the sort of the idea they had with the public dungeon and the way they wanted them to work, that's not what they had in mind. But at the end of the day, I don't know that it's working out the way that they wanted it to work anyway. Well, so it's like, to me, instancing it would be the obvious answer.
The biggest problem with the public dungeons that I have isn't the boss at the end, other than the fact that there's 100 dead bosses laying on the ground that some reason won't despawn. Yeah, but it's the fact that I go into these dungeons and I'm looking for something kind of like a dungeon to have to fight my way through,
and you don't have to do anything.
Through, there is nothing.
There's nothing to do.
Whoever's in front of me cleared it, and I'm just walking to the end.
I know, and it's kind of lame, especially if you're into the story and you're into it's a decent line. And you're going to the end boss and you like want to experience something, and you just walk in and you don't even get to like target the mob, and it's already dead. And you're just like, hey, you finished it. And you're just like, I did. Like I guess I got a hit in and I finished it. I don't know. It does need to be fixed.
And at the end of the day, that's what public dungeons have kind of become for the majority of us. We just go and do it just to clear it off our map, get the sky shard out of it, and go on. And there's, like Justin said, there's not a whole lot to do. You got to make a point to go try and kill something. So there's not a lot of point to going in there besides just kind of getting the sky shard and getting the achievement, getting it off your map, and moving on to something else at this point.
And if they wanted to make it a group experience, then you know what? Then go ahead and make it a group experience and just have it like group 4 people that are trying to get into it at once or whatever going into it, and make it another instance in that way. But not 50 people running through it and everything dead.
Some of the other stuff they talked about, these so-called black market activity accounts for 85% of the customer service calls and emails. That's apparently what's going on. 85% of the customer service calls and emails that ZeniMax are getting are on black, like, botting accounts, things like that, which obviously will explain, the slow response time some people are experiencing. I've had the opposite experience. I've only put in 1 ticket so far, and I've gotten a really quick response. I mean, I think it was less than 10 minutes, and I had somebody contact me and fix the problem. What's your experience? I know Troy,
that's mostly what I've heard. I haven't had to turn in a ticket myself, but that's mostly what I've heard from others is that even if they can't resolve the issue right that moment, and it's something that's coming up in a patch or they can't do right now, they're getting at least a response saying, yes, we got your ticket. I'm here to talk to you really quickly. I haven't heard from personal experience, a lot of people saying that they just never hear back from customer service.
Interesting. What about you, Jake? Have you put in a ticket?
I have not put in a ticket, but I certainly have not reported very many bots because it is a horrible reporting process.
That it is.
That's true.
It drives me nuts. I just want to right-click and click report spam. And it just
please. Yes, please.
That I agree with. ZeniMax also apologized. If you missed last week's show, we talked a lot about the duplication issue, the item dupe that was going on in the game. They apologized that they banned some innocent players from that. They got caught in the crossfire. That always happens. It's pretty much normal. Apparently, it sounds like there's Troy. He's stuck. He's giving you a thumbs up. There he is. He's back. At this point, it sounds like all wrongly banned accounts were reinstated. They're saying within 8 hours. So it wasn't really that bad of a big deal. You could have walked outside, maybe, saw the sun for 8 hours or the stars, whatever so be it. But ZeniMax are confident that this bug did not destabilize the economy, correct?
That's what they say.
It's a little hard to destabilize the economy right now.
With no auction house?
Well, so yeah, there's no auction house, which I was perfectly fine with before, but now I've got a big issue with it because the guild stores don't work in Cyrodiil.
Oh, are they not working at all in there? Gosh.
Well, they work for your guild. When you try to go up to one, it says you are not a part of this guild, so they don't have the actual functionality.
I was going to say, that's not the function. That wasn't the point of even doing that in Cyrodiil. It was supposed to be so everybody can interact with it.
So yeah, so the only way right now you're selling stuff is if you join these traders guilds.
What do you think the answer is here? I mean, do you think that do you think that they'll break down and actually make an auction house? I don't think they will.
I think one giant auction house is a mistake. I think it's sort of been proven in other games that may be too much when you're on one giant mega server. But I don't know. The only idea I've come up with is maybe like guild alliances where you can kind of align yourself with other guilds and your guild stores kind of merge, because we've kind of formed, informal alliances with other market guilds where we kind of help each other recruit and things like that. And you only got 30 slots to sell stuff anyway, so you're going to probably be part of more than one market guild if you're trying to sell things. But some sort of alliance where the guild stores merge, I think, would be an excellent idea.
Or they could even go with as far as having an auction house for each city, and have it be region-based or whatever. So each little map area has a different auction house in it.
Has anything?
That would be an interesting idea.
Has anything come out? Because what I was hoping for, and I've been away for about a week not playing. I was hoping that like a certain city would turn into kind of the trading city, the trading post, and people would sort of stand in a certain area, like around a fountain or something, and kind of start just yelling, and that'd be like an area that the players kind of pick themselves. Has that happened? That hasn't happened, has it?
There's a big problem with that, and it's the fact that zone chat is instanced zone chat.
Yes.
So you're only getting your little area, your section of the map that you're in.
So it's just in your instance that people are chatting in.
That is a problem.
Yes.
So you can't sell across instances.
So to answer your question, no, that hasn't really happened.
That has not happened. There's a very good reason for it. All right, moving on. There's actually a second item duping, or a second duping bug, but on a much smaller scale.
Exploit.
What's that?
It was more of an exploit.
Yeah, this one was fixed as well. So they fixed that. That's also been cleared up. Numerous quest blocking bugs have thankfully been fixed. That's some of the issues that I've had. That's the most issue I've had with two major quest lines being blocked. I figured out a way around them, but not a huge big deal. The first time it put me off and I just started doing my own thing, but I could have fixed it, but I just didn't realize. Basically, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, what always kept working with this was just abandon the quest completely and just go pick it back up again, and you'd usually be fine. That was my...
Yeah,
so
if logging out and logging in doesn't work back up, doesn't make it work out, then a lot of times logging out and back in does.
Which is lame. You know what's lame about that, too? Sometimes you don't remember where you picked up the quest.
Yeah, that can be a problem, especially since you find quests just randomly out in the world. Yeah, that could be a bit of an issue.
There was one like that. I couldn't find it back on my map again. I had just gotten, and I bumped back into him. And I was like, oh, thank God, I finally found them. Okay, so that's cool. They also fixed a bug that caused players to lose their purchased bank slots. I'm not sure. Do you guys have any insight on what they've done for the players who lost gold through there?
Their official response is if your bank slots have been restored and your items and your money was not restored or whatever, to contact customer support. That's all they've really said. I haven't heard anything official about yes we are making sure you get all of that stuff back, or no we can't give it all back. But they do have an official forum post that says contact customer support for lost items that happened with that.
I kind of
haven't heard any public stories that, oh, I got my stuff back. I haven't heard anything. So
no, but that sounds reasonable, right? I mean, they can go and kind of investigate on a person by person basis.
And you would think you would be more likely to hear it if they weren't getting their stuff back. People would probably be complaining loudly. So I'd imagine they're probably taking care of that situation if we haven't heard anything about it.
With all these fixes, obviously there was a few more maintenance, several maintenance periods that were not planned and kind of just came out of nowhere during prime time, things like that. But ZeniMax are promising that they're going to get better over time, and that these things will be more regular and on schedule once they get things pretty much cleaned up, which is good to hear. I don't know, anything else in the state of the game that stood out for you guys?
Not so much to say they didn't have much more than that the new patch is not far away, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it's not that far at all.
Yeah, they say it's getting ready to go up on the public test realm, and they said it'll be up there at least, a week to 10 days, but that sounds like we could be getting pretty close.
I'm not sure how much testing the week to 10 days is going to give it.
Yeah.
Patch, but
some people would argue how much testing did the game get entirely when it launched in the state it did, so yeah, whatever. I like the game, though. It's a fun game.
I do. That's the thing.
I'm still enjoying.
I'm still enjoying it. I really am. So there's 3 people still actually having a good time with it. But again, I play very casually, so it works very well for me. Like I don't play super hardcore. It's like log in, get an hour or two, do some stuff, have some fun, and just kind of like go along my way. Definitely don't know.
And it's a perfect setup for that.
Yeah,
it's perfectly set up for that.
I don't know if it's going to be like a super hardcore. If you're looking to do like some high end rating constantly and things like that, I don't know if it's going to be that, but we'll see. I don't know.
If you have a group of people, to do Cyrodiil together, that is a blast.
That's what everybody is loving, the PvP, which is great. And the big question becomes: are you going to pay the sub fee just for the PvP? Like that's the question.
Craglorn looks sexy though. I will have to admit the little skirmish thing, the trials. There we go. I can't think of the words I'm trying to say. The trials, when we got more information on that earlier this week, those look a lot more interesting than I thought they were going to. They look like they were just going to be little skirmishes, and they look more like raiding light, which intrigues me immensely because I would be all about that. So I'm very interested as more and more information comes out on that. That looks super sexy.
I actually like that they put a different spin on it as opposed to just, ooh, here's a raid, who's enrolled first. I like this idea that you can always compete to do better and have a better time than everyone else. So that is kind of cool.
You don't have to compete if you don't want to, which is fabulous.
It's not that far away. All right, I want to talk about some H1Z1, but first I want to tell you guys about a great deal we got going on for WildStar. The next big AAA MMO everybody's talking about. This is the next hotness, the WildStar. We've got 20% off on your pre-order. All you got to do is go over to gamebreaker.tv/deals. That page is actually updated every day with a ton of different deals. So right now, we still got another big one right now is the Dark Souls. This is an MMO show, but if you guys are looking to pick up Dark Souls 2, we've got 25% off on Dark Souls 2, which is a sick deal. Just got extended throughout this weekend, so it's going to go away really, really soon. So if you're thinking about picking up the Dark Souls 2, head on over to gamebreaker.tv/deals. That's a good one. And obviously, WildStar's pre-order at 20% off is a good chunk of cash that you could save just by going over to gamebreaker.tv/deals. There's a bunch of other deals up there. Just you get, like I said, every day this thing is updated, so you guys should check it out every day. We got this Battlefield 4, Far Cry, Total War Master Collection, Mass Effect, for $5. So there's a ton of great deals on here all the time. Check it out, gamebreaker.tv/deals. All right, if you guys haven't been following, Sony Online Entertainment announced a new zombie survival game, it's called H1Z1. It's going to be free to play. Yada, yada, yada. We'll talk about those details in a minute. But this came as a kind of a surprise this week. H1Z1 at some point down the road will have playable zombies. The players will be able to play zombies. This was a shocker. This is kind of a radical departure from the game everyone's sort of comparing it to, which is DayZ. We haven't seen this before. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I've tried throwing money at my screen, and they're just not taking it yet.
They're not taking it yet. They're just like, no, Troy.
Take my money.
No coin slot. Does this make you even want to throw your money at the screen even more?
Yeah, I mean that's a new interesting take on sort of the same thing that everybody else does. Play as a zombie. That's almost got to feel unique and different. Be something to do. And if you log in and you don't want to go around playing Call of Duty in their freaking giant PvP arena that this game is probably going to be, then be a zombie and smack some things in the face and die a lot and be part of the horde. That sounds phenomenal. I mean, how could it not?
It's going to depend on how they do it. I mean, if it's supposed to be this MMO world, I don't want people just choosing to create a zombie and go in and play that. I'd rather you be in there, and if you get attacked by a zombie, you have the chance of turning. And if other people don't kill you, or when you die, if they don't kill you fast enough, you might turn. But if they kill you, then you have to just restart as a regular player. Like, I don't think being able to jump in just as a zombie anytime you want would be.
I don't know how this is going to play out.
Either.
This is a radical departure from anyone who's been into the survival horror sort of genre. And I don't even know how. There's not that many details yet. They did say, and I quote, huge restrictions to handle exploits. Whatever that will be, though, they're going to do that. But I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is, wow, this sounds really intriguing and cool. Mm-hmm. But then my second one is sort of like, but I mean, there's so many things you could possibly do that would be wrong. Like, what if I just go, hey, Troy, let's team up together. I'm a zombie and you're a player. I'll be nice. I'm not going to kill you. I don't know. It would be really weird.
So many people are going to be just logging and be a zombie. It's going to be like Zombie 2000 with like 3 people playing as survivors.
But what if they made it like really hard, where like when you're a zombie, you don't see any player names. You don't actually see players very well. Like all you can actually see is like the smell of something, or hear sound effects and stuff like that, and you can go towards that, like draws you to make you a bit more mindless looking.
That'd be interesting. And I would imagine that they're going to like limit movement speed and things like that to make them feel like zombies and not just have like players running around like we're normally running around. Which that's gonna be interesting for players to deal with. If like when they push W and they go forward, they're literally just like trudging along like a zombie. Which I don't see how you could do this any other way. Like you can't just like have zombie NPCs trudging along and then have me just running after you like at full speed. I don't know. So you think
somebody cut off your leg and then you have to like crawl on the ground?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Until they cut off your head.
So you're thinking they're going to try and make the NPC experience as closely to the player experience, controlled experience as possible, so that the actual players almost can't detect who's a player and who's an NPC?
That'd be kind of cool. Honestly, yeah. I mean, if they make it as much similar to each other as possible.
I think that's what they'd have to do. They would have to try and make it as close to as possible as NPCs as possible, mix them in, and have nothing different. No movements, no abilities. Everything has to be what an NPC would be able to handle. Because then you'd be able to spot people right away, and it would just be a totally different experience. I don't know. Am I crazy?
I mean, they can even make it to where if you don't feed on somebody in time or something like that, maybe you die from not eating after a certain amount of time. From not killing.
Do you think you do like zombie character creation? How do you guys think this would work? Or do you think it's like a chance to turn when you die? Or
zombie character creation would be awesome, but it would almost be, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but you'd almost think it's going to be something like Justin suggested at first, where you've almost got to be killed or bitten by a zombie to be able to turn, because then everybody's just going to want to play zombies. At least I think so. I want to play a zombie. So you almost would think that it's going to be some sort of in-game, either some sort of in-game mechanic that turns you into a zombie, or there's some sort of arena off to the side where this kind of stuff takes place, and you can choose team, zombie, or survival.
Team zombie.
There you go.
That's where I'm like, the idea behind this sounds cool, and then part of it like breaks down for me, because zombies are mindless, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe some of you out there watching this show are mindless too, so I don't know. That's up for debate. But
zombies aren't in voice chat coordinating their attacks.
Actually, wouldn't you see that in a post-apocalyptic world though? Like people capturing zombies and putting other people up against them in an arena, like the post-apocalyptic showdown of this captured zombie versus whoever.
Guys, the post-apocalyptic
post-apocalyptic
it's
world.
the post-apocalyptic like bull run. Just release Noob Fridge to the zombies, and people are just cheering and throwing money at my money's on Noob Fridge. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a Coliseum of zombies.
Doesn't sound like this is going to happen. This is definitely not happening for launch, though. It's saying down the line, it sounds like.
Yeah, this will probably be some feature they introduce a month or two into it to kind of refresh the interest of the people who've been playing a little while, who might have seen it, done it. Well, here's this new game mode, or this new feature, or however they're going to do it. Here's this new thing to try out. Stay playing our game.
They're definitely saying a lot of cool things, piquing a lot of interest in a lot of people.
Yes.
I'm watching chat room right now, and everyone is just like, I'm throwing money at the screen. So well, it's coming soon. So before we move on to like some monetization stuff with they're also talking about allowing teams, they're talking about allowing players to purchase things like airdrops. So food, water, things like that. Before you guys freak out, it's just an idea. They're not sure if they're going to do it yet. And Smedley has said that he wants to kind of create this sort of Hunger Games kind of situation around it, where everyone is just scrambling for the package that drops in the random location. So if I read this right, in other words, ESO, we are considering charging you for a bloodbath, which is pretty interesting, I got to say.
Well, either that or does that sort of become like a new version of a lockbox, because you're going to pay, but you don't know what you're going to get, and you don't know if you're even going to get it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, does that kind of turn into that?
It kind of is that. It kind of is exactly that, except you got to fight for it.
What I could see interesting is the supplies aren't what's important here. It's who comes to the supplies and how many snipers your team has set up around the outside waiting to take them out as they go towards the supplies. And then you just wait and take all their gear.
Maybe you buy a drop and you don't even care what's in it. You just buy the drop just so you can set up around it and snipe people.
I think he was delayed.
It was.
Yep.
There's a lot of potential for craziness in this game. You know, the zombies, the airdrops, all this stuff. I gotta say, like, you know, thinking back for a second, when he made the first the SWG reference to Come Home, it seems radically different than SWG. I don't know, like, not in a bad way, but I'm not seeing, besides the fact that you're going to be able to like build some houses and stuff, I'm not seeing the SWG in H1Z1 yet. Not just yet.
I'm really surprised they even bothered bringing up SWG when they first started talking about this.
I think it's
got our
features that we
attention.
just haven't been announced about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's features. I know they had mentioned somewhere about setting up towns, creating like this whole town structure and leading it and stuff, and creating those little communities. So I feel like there's more regarding the crafting and the and towns and stuff and building and things that we just haven't heard about yet, because maybe they don't know what all they're going to do with it.
There is a lot of potential though. SOE have all, you know, have been super adamant about not selling supplies that are going to help players survive in the game. So I think most people out there are probably okay with that. Talking about the monetization for a little bit, it's pretty much what we expected, I think, other than the potential airdrops, which we're not sure if it's going to happen yet. But cosmetics, of course, yes, they're going to, you know, sell those, although you can still find and craft a lot of gear in the world. They will not be selling any guns, ammo, food, water, or boosts, but except maybe in the airdrops. Who knows? I'm not sure. One cool thing is you'll be able to loot and wear player station cash gear, which you really is. This is actually a really cool feature. I think people are just like, what? So if Troy buys a piece of, like, you know, like a hoodie or something from this with station cash, and I kill him, I'm actually going to be able to wear that hoodie for X number amount of time. So we don't know if that's through a death or if it's time-based or whatever, but that's kind of cool. That's going to cause for some friction. You just see some other players, and you're like, whoa, that looks like something cool. I'm just going to shoot him in the face.
If you needed another reason to go randomly hit somebody, there you go. Have their loot too. Now it's important to note that the person who purchased it, spent the money on it, doesn't lose that item. The person who loots it just gets it for a short duration.
Sorry, yes,
so
that's
you're not going to spend money and then not have it anymore.
Yes, that's a big thing. So it's kind of like full loot, but it's not. It's not really full. You don't lose your stuff if you bought it.
I'm guessing there's going to be like a completely different inventory system for like this clothing and stuff that doesn't fill up your bag spots. Because if you keep buying stuff from the store, clothing-wise, and you fill up all your inventory, that'd be a little annoying.
I hope it doesn't. I mean, you want to do a sim, I got a backpack, bro. Go find a better backpack. Like, I don't know. They start doing all those things, then it just becomes another MMO. I don't know. Yeah. The looted station cash gear is going to degrade over time. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be totally time-based or just, you know, when you die. But bought station cash gear for players will never degrade, so That would be crazy. So if you buy a hat, you'll always have the hat. Another aspect they're considering for the game are crates in the world with random, like, cool loot from the store. Ooh, what do you think?
That you have to buy a key to unlock, which makes it exactly a lockbox.
Yeah, I hate these things because you get a lot of them. They're like, here's one, here's one, here's one. You can't do crap with them until you spend money.
Spend that money.
Yep. Should they? What? I mean, you're gonna have to buy a key from the store to open them up. But they are considering. This is another consideration. They're actually considering letting players see what's inside of them before they commit to purchasing a key, which
is great for us, but for them, then you're only going to bother buying a key if it's something that's worth more than the key costs. I don't know. That seems odd too. I don't like lockboxes. Just do away with lockboxes. Get rid of them. Quit trying to do them. Any shape, form, or fashion. We don't need it.
Doesn't
sell us cool stuff that we want. We'll give you money.
That's the same thing as buying weapons and stuff like that at that point, because you look at it like, oh, this has this weapon I want. Now I'm going to spend the money on it. I just bought this weapon for this amount of money.
Pretty much. That is pretty much what's going to happen. And it doesn't even matter if you just turn down X number of boxes because it doesn't have really good loot. You're just going to buy the ones that do have loot, but you're probably going to purchase more keys than that. Having that carrot dangled in front of you, you're going to buy more keys than you would have if they didn't do something like that. So I don't know.
Probably because I don't buy keys at all. But if I seen there was a fat piece of loot in there,
you're buying a key.
Buy some keys.
You might buy some keys.
Can the lockboxes drop as well? Like if you kill the person, will their lockbox drop?
We don't know. So many things.
Because they can see someone trying to sell their lockbox. Like, this lockbox has this item. I'll come buy it. They come up and the game comes instead. Take the lockbox and go unlock it.
This game.
I mean, I honestly, if they really want to go for it, that's the kind of thing they should allow in the game. Like, that's what's going to make crazy emergent gaming like stories from players doing stuff like that. Because then it's going to become like, oh my god, do I want to just spam in chat that I've got this lockbox with this item? Do I want to even like start trading with things like that, or do I got to like find a band of people to actually group together with who I can trust, and we only like internally trade within our little like shanty town that we've built? Like, that's when I think it gets really interesting.
Well, I'm reading it again. It does say filled with random cool stuff from the store. So I guess that means there won't ever be weapons in it or stuff like that. Just there's the chance for store items being inside the lockbox.
True.
Okay, so at least it's just cosmetic.
A set of cosmetic things, or maybe an airdrop. I don't know.
We shall see.
Possibly worth ganking you for.
Yes. All right, last up this week, let's talk about some Founders Packs. If you guys haven't been following ArcheAge from Tryon, a bunch of keys have gone out, and there's a lot of people streaming it now, so you should definitely check it out. So ArcheAge have gone down the road also of offering Founders Packs to get into the alpha and the beta as it continues. So we've got 3 tiers of you get the 50, 100, and the 150 mark. 3 different price points. Are you guys fans of this whole new like model? Because this is going to be a free-to-play game. So free-to-play game, you will feel like if you want to get in early, you can pick one of these up. Do you, obviously the $50 and the $100 versions get you beta access, but not the alpha. If you want the alpha access, you're going to have to go the 150 mark. Justin,
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. $100 is not good enough to get you into alpha. Congratulations.
Like, this works so well for EverQuest, for Landmark. Let's bump it up. We even gave the same title, Trailblazer.
The prices are amazing. I can't believe the prices.
Actually, I'm looking at it a bit more, and if we look at it just objectively here, if you get $75 apparently in credits, so we know how much you're going to be selling credits for in the game. I'm not sure how much items cost in there, but we know how much they're selling credits for basically now. So $75 worth of credits, plus for that $150 one, you're getting 3 months of patron status. So you're getting $45 worth of payments and patron status there. So 75 and 45 right away. You're already above the 100 mark at that point. So it's not too far off. And then whatever chests are going to cost, we'll take the rest and split up between chests and how much those cost possibly.
These packs don't bother me at all that they offer these things. I don't know, I'm watching the chat. Some people are a little bit cynical about them, but it's like, if you do not want to, buy a Founders Pack and just wait for the game to launch and be free to play, you're more than welcome to. So it's in an alpha and a beta state. It's not the release of the game. So, you know, for some people who really like this sort of thing and like to work through bugs and get into games early and see how it is. I don't know. I like these options. You guys are a little bit. You think the pricing is a little bit high?
It just amazes me that people are willing to pay $150 to come into your alpha and test your broken game for you. That still amazes me quite often that things sell at these price points this early on in the game's access period. And I'm also surprised there's not like a $20 option. I mean, you know, you think you would probably sell quite a few more if you were selling them. You know, had a $20 option where you got some benefits. Just the starting at $50 and going up, and $100 isn't enough to even get you into alpha. That's just a
well. Let's just say for a second, what if the possibility is maybe they don't want a ridiculous number of people in the alpha right now while they're working through things. Like, you know, but if you do it at 20 or 50, you're going to get a, you know, they figure out the numbers and they go like, man, we're just going to have actually too many people. We don't want that many people coming into our alpha. So
Landmark actually ran into that issue. Yeah. Even with their $100 package, like their $100 package, all those people got alpha access, and they didn't have enough servers running and a stability to be able to handle everybody at the start. And that became kind of an annoyance to a lot of people. I mean, so there is that. And to be quite honest, I spent $100 for Landmark, and there's a lot less to do in there than there is in this game right now.
Oh, yeah. I've been playing. I don't know if you guys have been playing ArcheAge, but I mean, I haven't really hit any bugs. I mean, this is a full on, like, this is a full MMO, like, you know, theme park / sandbox hybrid, I guess you would call it. It's a pretty interesting take on what they're trying to do here, because like I said, it is kind of more of a hybrid, but there is a lot to do in this game. A lot.
There is. My problem right now is I'm still pretty early on. I'm not saying I'm like done with the game and I never saw the sandbox stuff, but I'm having a hard time finding the transition from the theme park beginning, the typical boring as hell MMO crap that you always start out with. I'm having a hard time finding the transition to the sandbox stuff. And a lot of people are telling me it's time to just pick a direction and just go. So I think maybe I'm just going to have to quit looking for the point where it gives me the off-ramp to the sandbox stuff and be like, you know what, I'm just taking this map by the cojones and we're just going to go. So
yeah, I'm wondering maybe I don't think you're just going to get that roadside one day that just says like, Troy, okay, you've now just go in your own direction. I think it's just...
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be looking for the hand holding while I'm waiting for the game to quit holding my hand. I'm willing to accept that I'm probably, you know, the cause of my own problem here. I'm not saying
I don't think you have
not.
to, which will confuse some players, but I guess maybe that's partially even some of the stuff that they're working out in alphas to kind of see how players play it, and maybe they don't realize it. It's actually so it's an interesting one to check it out. So a lot of perks, a lot of things. You guys can check it out. Go to ArcheAge.com if you're interested in becoming a founder. Like I said, beta and silver and gold for 50 and 100 get you beta access, but not into the alpha access, which is actually going on right now. You get some in-game gold across all of them. You get these head starts. You get titles. You get 30, 60, or 90-day statuses, some chests, all kinds of stuff. The gliders, people love the gliders, basically like, you know, kind of like your mount, but you fly. So cheap when you get the experimental. You get the Glass Phoenix glider. Some cool plate mail at the higher ends. And then on the very high end, you get some reagents for your crest. Put your own crest in the game. You get some healing potions, and you get a founder's cloak. So,
you get to customize your cloak.
Yeah, yes.
Make a cloak with an uploaded image.
Yep. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out. I can't wait to see some of the higher end stuff. I mean, like the sandbox elements up at the top end of the game of, you know, just faction on faction. There's 3 factions, just sieging and naval warfare and all that stuff. That's going to be where it gets really interesting. So, I don't know, Troy. I think you should just maybe like pick a direction and go.
Yeah, because that's the stuff I want. That's the stuff that I saw long ago when they first started talking about ArcheAge, and I was like, ooh, I want that. So I think it's just time to just go off the road and just find that.
People are super excited about it. I've been watching Tally do a bunch of streaming of it. Man, people are super excited about it. Chat room is loving what they're seeing. They're really liking it. I don't know, Justin, are you picking? Are you going to pick one of these up?
I don't know if I am. The combat design or system is what puts me off the most.
Really? Because the skill system is like incredible. Like
it's not that. It's tab targeting.
True.
I can't. I'm tired of tab targeting. It bores me. It bores me way too much in games anymore. It kind of just puts me off. I'll have to try it out there to see.
But for the talk about the skill system for a second, it is incredibly in depth of what you can do. Like literally, I don't know if I've seen a game that lets you mix, match, and just make whatever crazy kind of character you could possibly want to make. Did they have some crazy stat about how many different options you could have with the skill system? It was like, I don't even know what it was. It was incredible.
Yeah, I saw that something.
Yeah, I don't remember the number, but it was huge. Like of all the possibilities.
Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. That is the ArcheAge. Mr. Justin Kennedy, JKK. Follow him on Twitter at JKK Kennedy TV. And writing on Gamebreaker TV and shows and all that good stuff. And if you guys are playing ESO, to make sure to go check out his how to play ESO with a controller video. I think just keeps getting hits and hits and hits.
WildStar 1 coming up after this weekend.
There you go. Troy Blackburn. Follow him on the Twitter at NoobFridge. Right here on TWIMMO. And of course on GameBreaker.tv as well. You can follow me, Gary Gannon. Follow GameBreaker TV, GameBreaker TV. Come over to our Facebook page. Oh, check out our new Twitter page. Twitter.com/GameBreakerTV. Love the new layout. It's awesome. It's kind of like it's what I wanted Facebook to be. I like looking at the Twitter page now that I'm more to Facebook, to be honest with you. So check it out. And if you haven't followed us, follow us at GameBreaker TV. It's good. All right, we'll see you next week for some more This Week in MMO. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.